You know, over the years, since 1997 when Google started, SEO has changed dramatically. And so I'm going to give you some hot off the presses tips. You ready? I'm going to give you 3 cutting edge tips. And these are the best SEO tips you will ever hear. It's from this guy named Brett Tabke. He's run Webmaster World for a long time. And his first tip was, the simpler your site design, the better. Speed is not everything. It's pretty much the only thing. Your website should be so fast and react so fast that things should happen instantaneously. And so that's one of the best SEO tips I've ever heard. Hot off the presses, right? Number 2, he said, build 1 page of quality content per day. It's part of the theme of the post that he put together. And he said, Google loves content, not just content, but high quality content. So cutting edge SEO tips here. And he said, don't succumb to any of these tricks that people are talking about, get rich quick schemes, or for $99 you can dominate on Google, or pay me, $147 for my secret tricks to Google. He said, don't fall for that stuff. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If it feels like it's spammy, unethical, or tricky, don't do it. You'll get in trouble. These are the best 3 SEO tips that you will ever hear for moving forward from 2013 and beyond. Brett wrote these tips as part of a post on the Webmaster World Forum, Successful Site in 12 Months with Google Alone, by Brett Tabke. Cutting edge stuff, right? Except, when did he write this? Holy cow! The 3 best SEO tips that I have ever heard, they're 10 years old. Has SEO changed dramatically? I don't think so. It's changed dramatically if you've been doing the wrong thing, if you've been trying to manipulate and take advantage of the tricks out there. But if you've been following the Google guidelines about build great content, build your websites for visitors and not for other people, and sure, there's a whole bunch of little technical details, but for the most part, if you've been doing the right thing, it hasn't changed dramatically. What has changed is that some of the black hat, sneaky, unethical, spammy tricks that used to work, they don't work anymore. I'm going to give you 3 examples of these. Okay, so there's a web consultant in Nashville. Somebody I knew had hired them. And on the consultant's website, they say they offer SEO and website optimization services. The consultant sent my acquaintance an email that said this: I want to leave our comments on these blogs to help us move up the search engine sites. Well, guess what? That's one of the things that Google specifically says, don't do that in trying to manipulate links and manipulate your search engine rankings. They've said that for a long time. That used to work back in the early 2000s. Hadn't worked for a while, okay? That's the type of people that are calling themselves experts and consultants in SEO. Here's another example that doesn't work any well. Links from other websites are extremely important for Google and other search engines, and it always has been. Google counts links from other websites pointing to your websites like votes of authority or citations in a research paper in your bibliography. Or letters of recommendation. It's extremely important for establishing your authority to get links. Well, one of the things that you could do if you figured that out, it's like, hey, how can I go out and get some cheap links? And there have just been tons of offers out there. You probably got 100 of them in your spam filters on your email boxes that say, hey, you can get 100 links for $50 and we'll deliver them within 24 hours. Or you need 1,000 links? No problem, it's only $480. Might take us 2 days to get you those links. How authoritative do you think those links are going to be if it costs them 50 cents a piece to place those links? If you compare a link from another website to a letter of recommendation, looky here, I've got 1,000 letters of recommendation. Paid somebody $500 to get them all. Would you hire me? Because I've got 1,000 letters of recommendation? You shouldn't. On the other hand, if Selena walks in looking for the same job and she says, I've only got 1 letter of recommendation, but it's from Governor Haslam, you'd say, oh, That's probably a little more authoritative than 1,000 letters of recommendation from people Ross doesn't even know. Does that make sense? And so Google has finally caught on to this. Worked in the past. Not only does it not work anymore, Google has actively been targeting websites that have done this, and whereas maybe you should have ranked about 4, they'll penalize you and you'll rank number 14 or 412. So if you've done this in the past, look out, because they're coming to get you. What do? You bought them. Go try to get rid of them. Good luck. Here's another example of something that doesn't work. It did in the past. Again, another company in the Nashville area where I compete for business, company that specializes in search engine optimization and internet marketing. They talk right next to their BBB logo. They talk about how they know how to do things the right way, and they always practice best practices for Google, and they follow the Google guidelines, and they're only white hat, and they don't do the risky things, but they're smart. They do this thing with your articles called article spinning. And it takes a unique article that you've written or that you've grabbed from somewhere else, and they use a synonymizer to go through all the words in your article. And they will synonymize each of those individual words in your article, whether it's a 500-word article or a 1,000-word article. They will automatically, randomly convert each of those words with synonyms. So it's still technically content, but it's not very human readable. And guess what? That worked in the past, because technically they were unique articles. And Google wasn't smart enough for a while to figure out, hey, that's just a bunch of hooey. And over the last couple of years, they've gotten much better at detecting that. And this is still on my competitor's website, right next to their BBB logo. Okay? Those are some of the things that you've got to watch out for, especially when you're talking to somebody who calls himself an SEO guru. All right? So, enough of what doesn't work, but what works.